figured it out. And there's a reason I'm doing the vlog thing. I love psychology so much that I was basically doing surgery on myself. I blunt forced my way through the book, reliving all those wonderful memories with this autistic memory of mine. And I took the time to actually become dispassionate. Like, that's a meditative thing you can do with practice. And if you don't think it can be done, try. I didn't think I could sing multiple octaves, as many as I can, but I can do so very fluently, and I'm getting more fluent by the day. All it takes is retraining. So, what I tell people is, a chef is simply a cook that knows how to do a whole lot of things at the same time. As somebody who is fluent in being able to cook, with the knowledge to back it up. Now, how good you are depends on personal finesse and how fluent you are. Meaning, can you read a cookbook? And can you study? And do you study? Anywho, I'm sidetracking, but balance means everything to the autist that I know and myself. And I've watched every movie, and I loved every movie where the hero won in the end. Life doesn't exactly work like that, and that's the hard part that my brain is trying to get around. That's why I keep talking about different traumas and whatnot, is I've legitimately lost things, and not of my own volition or doing. They were negligent or they were deliberately harmful. And I'm stuck here with a story nobody's ever believed. I mean, it took me 10 years just to get my mother to call my brother and say, hey, what about this truck? And then call my dad and say, and then find out, wow, that actually happened. Then she gave my brother a stern warning, or stern talking to, followed by going to visit him the next year. Lovely. See, I mean, I'm an afterthought. Like, oh, you did a bad thing, don't do it again. It's kind of like it was the equivalent of scolding an animal for doing something wrong. No, I'm sorry, scolding a child for doing something wrong to an animal. There we go. And that's the thing, is when you don't feel valued, it eats at you. But damn, I forgot where I was going with this. I'm starting to understand myself a little bit more. There we go, illogical. It's just, there's no balance. I'll give you another example. I have an absolutely incredible life story. I am a functional autist. And when I say incredible life story, you will not believe it until somebody or an organization of note verifies it. There's that much to it. Let's be real here. And the news didn't care during Autism Awareness Month. Like, local news, maybe-ish, kind of maybe. I mean, Coin 6 didn't, but I mean, apparently, man, that was a secretary issue that just cost opportunity. But, you know, those things are common. Meaning, hey, this is what my story is. I would like to have somebody check it out. And so on and so forth. Oh yeah, here is the number you should call. The investigative unit? Yes. Okay. And this is the one I should talk to? Yes. But everybody has mistakes, right? So wasted resources and time and all that good stuff. But that's the thing is, I find it logical because there's sensation in a story like mine. But nobody cares. Autism Awareness Month, national news, nobody cared. My family, nobody cared. In fact, they still don't believe half the shit that happened in my life. So, I mean, it's one of those where, when I say the biggest complaint with autists is you guys aren't listening, like aren't actually hearing, you're not paying attention. You're not present in a national conversation, or even a global conversation, involving at least 1% of the population that has spanned multiple generations of historical record. Seriously, I am living proof right now. Just looking at all of that to where this is what autists are talking about. We have to explain things multiple times because you guys aren't present in the conversation with us. Ritalin worked and other drugs worked, but what did they work on? I truly believe that autism is natural, and I've got plenty of evidence to back that stance up. But implicit bias is seeing it as a disability and not expounding upon the definition of the spectrum. And I'd love to do so myself, kind of like, if I remember right, Maslow developed his hierarchy before he was a doctor. At least I'm sticking with that because that's inspiration to me, since my transcripts are tied up. Like, it's just so much entanglement, man. And so much I want to get out there. And so many people don't care. I don't have a voice. Let's just be clear here. Now, if you met me, you know me, and you're probably listening. But if you're family or not, like, Jesus. I get what other autists are talking about, and it was so refreshing to hear somebody else say, I understand. It really was. And honestly, there's a part of me that's wrestling with the fact that I'm never going to own a home. I'm never going to have a family. That definitely wasn't entirely my fault. Not in any way, shape, or form. That was definitely not entirely my fault. And there's going to be no recompense for it. For example, Ron May Towing. I can confidently say this out loud because there's proof to back me up on 3 different occasions. But they basically committed perjury in court and fabricated evidence. True story. They towed my car and then they legally got away with it. And the judge heard my heard my desire to file for perjury and then submit evidence so that I don't lose my phones that I used to make money at the time. So entangled, man. Let me tell you something. So entangled. And just a perfect storm of events. And now I'm reliving Seattle. And none of you care. Like, that's the thing is, everybody wants others to conform to their rules, their perspective. Nobody wants to consider that maybe there's another perspective or another way of viewing things, because they throw so much of themselves into that situation that it almost becomes a personal affront to deny their perspective or to at least point out the flaws in it. And there's no deliberate debate, there's an attack. People don't go have a back and forth anymore. We're so polarized and so privileged that, I mean, we're basically at least 3 sins in the Bible. And at least 3 cardinal ones, yes, absolutely, as a nation, 100%, no doubt. I'll back this up, yeah. But not here. We're so gluttonous and self-righteous in our perspective that we're ignoring the fact that we are a nation and there are other people around us, there are other perspectives, and it's the diversity of perspective and genetics that has allowed us to become the superior species on the planet, capable of possibly conquering other planets very soon. We are an incredible species, and we're still tribal. All it takes is a tiny bit of compassion. You know, that thing that Christians are supposed to have, Jesus and all that good mess, and Buddhists are supposed to have, and Muslims are supposed to have, and, you know, just pick a religion. Compassion's a part of it. And part of compassion is willingness and patience. I'm not saying that. And it's not even a fear, but kind of something I'm sad about and mourning is that I'm not sure anybody's ever going to hear my story, as incredible as it is. And the circle of life is just going to keep spinning without any difference. And it's the indifference. I see us as Rome before the fall, and part of me is mourning imbalance, and part of me is mourning what I'm seeing is the trend of downfall, just societally. We should be better than this.